Alright, Chapter 10, Design Submittal Requirements. General requirements. The contract identifies the submittal for the stage for the concept with the design with the required for the additional stages. Designs may be incremented in stages of the design of the recorder with the contractor may also be authorized to proceed in one stage at a time to funding limitation of the information presented below to define the minimum level of the information required at each of the middle of the stage. Design specific guidelines. Additional, more detailed specific guidance for each of the disciplines found with the unified facility criteria within less specified otherwise the contract flow with the criteria for each of the stages of design. List of these designs is found by the unified facility criteria. We're referencing herein with the referred discipline specified in the unified facility criteria. Listed disciplines specific to the unified facility criteria and holes of the files. UFC 1 200 01 general building requirements. UFC 3 100 and architectural. UFC 3 120 10 interior design. UFC 3 210 and civil engineering. UFC 201 02 landscape. UFC 3 220 01 geotechnical engineering procedure foundation design building structure. UFC 3 301 01 structural engineering mechanical engineering. 300 510 and electrical engineering. 300 600 01 fire protection engineering. UFC 3 610 and fire protection. UF 3 800 environmental engineering for the facility construction. Alright, 10.1.2, the number for the copy to provide the numerical electronic hard copy required for the use of submittal comply with the additional requirements specified in the contract. Respond with the review within comments designed with the record contractor. Respond with the resolution corporation government comments for the protection design. Each submittal with return address for the prejudice previously recommends the comment. Review the comments. The comment was incorporated into the decision. For response shall indicate that if the comment was incorporated with the explanation, shall provide with the not doing so if the contact government reviewer to discuss any of the comment that may be not incorporated, whatever reason. Cost estimates for design build projects. The design build request for proposal development provide for the cost estimate each for the submittal stage and incorporate the Navy fact cost engineering policy procedure. Basis of the design. The basis of the design, nature of the presentation facts of the influential sufficiently to complete with the demonstration of the project of the concept to fully understand the subsequent design of the details. Ultimate presentation for the final drawing specifications will be based on sound architectural engineering design. Be provided discussion with the description of the design. Each of the disciples appropriate with the project and the adaptation of the guidance below. Typically, the base of the design is not required to develop the request for proposal. The requirements are provided with the project program. Basically, the design shall be bounded and documented on 8.5 by 11-inch organized disposable provided with a cover sheet including the documentation on the base of the design, including the submittal stage of the project title, location, A and E, or contractor construction contract under number, the post award of DB design build contracts only, the project award order number, the maximum number, firm command, contractor name and date. 10.1.5 10.1F51 anti-terrorism force protection. And the basic design shall contain the anti-terrorism force protection section and summary of the design compliance with the DoD claiming it requirements as minimal. The summary shall include the following: applicable design criteria, 3 level, the performance objective of the facility design, including occupancy, classification, structural safety, site plan, dimension, handing off the distance, building separation, and overview of the progressive collapsing, and analyst, and if required, description of the window door treatment of the mechanical utility system, table summarization. Each of the criteria element is staff of the brief explanation for the each element is not kept in compliance. The summary with all the required waiver variances, special design consideration, proposed design resolutions. Geotechnical, the base of the design should include the paragraphically prescribed with the geotechnical investigation program, the recommendation of the site preparation, the recommendation for the building foundation and pavement design, if referred with the geotechnical report made with the base of the design as an appendix. However, the schedule may include the completion of the field investigation prior to the submit with the base design, and if this case, describe the assumed base of the design of the foundation pavement and submit with the geotechnical report as soon as possible, acceptable with the government, comply with the additional requirements. The geotechnical is required in Chapter 9. 10.153 structural. Provide a narrative report on how to describe the concept of satisfied with the customer requirements to meet the criteria when the cost effective include the same with the following. This is a summary of the criteria upon which the structural design is based, including the same with all the loads, dead, live, wind and stone, earthquake, any other significant load. List all the assumptions required with the structural design, whether the system or the design criteria and undefined unclear confliction, unknown. State the basis for the assumption. Describe the structural floor of the roof system. Include a discussion of both the gravity lateral force resisting system. Describe the gravity lateral loads. Provided with all pertinent information such as the capacity, size, dimension, material, design, strength. And define how the foundation slab within the ground is used. Distributed lateral force between the structure and the ground. Provide a narrative summary with the foundation system, including the method of determination, bearing capacity, maximum allowable bearing capacity, lateral force, capacity foundation of well, the sole parameters used in the design. Provide all the pertinent information such as the capacity, size, the dimension, and list all the materials and the design strengths. When appropriate, provide the statement with special consideration for the effects of design of super flat floors for the high stack of the warehouse, special construction, corrosion resistant requirements, fire resistant requirements at crane and monorails, etc. Describe applicable special instructions, inspections, testing, and observation required for the International Building Code 17. Calculation purpose of the design calculation shall be submitted to the design stage within the indicated the contract calculation shall include the reference for all Navy non-Navy criteria used. Computer output should be properly identified, appropriately referenced for that as to the program. Name of the version source to prepare the calculation metric unit with the metric design with the required geotechnical structural requirements of the paragraph 10.163 and 10.164. And 5, for additional information specific requirements by the discipline for the discipline section of the Unified Facility Criteria for the contracting requirements. Format. Calculations shall be bound documents of 8.5 by 11 and provided with the cover sheet with identify the documentation as calculation, including submittal state for the project title, the location A&E with the contract construction contracting number, each project's work order with the maximum number of the command, contractor name and the date, organize the calculation discipline with the same order of the drawings bid in the manner of the appropriate number of the sheets involved with the index shows the follow the title sheet. Sub-indexers shall provide the discipline have a very large number of the sheets and all sheets have the number of the page numbers include the index. Geotechnical requirements, geotechnical calculation normally appear with the geotechnical report, however they may be separate packaged in another constellation other than geotechnical constellation prepares of the calculation foundation of the pavement. The calculation shall indicate the loading capacity of the safety factors and the text from which the calculations are based on the foundation of the pavement. The graph of the formula of the shape shall be clearly indicated with all the deviation, course slopes, and data review from the laboratory testing. Structural requirements provide calculations to support all the items and details outlined with the drawing specification, including calculation for the main framing system, all the beams, columns, walls, foundations, bracing, diaphragms, equipment support, etc. Component interior connections to provide safety and stability, efficiently cost-effective structural system, considering all design loads and criteria that must be legible, orderly, and easily understandable with the check of the registrative practice of structural engineering. Also included in the file on the cover sheet indicated the project title for the location, construction, contract number, the name of the person ordering the check for the calculation, table of contents, brief statement describing the structural systems and significant design parameters, any of the restriction that may affect the design, applicable design criteria. Loads are all loading forward forces total change that include the settlements of other internal external actions that may affect the design of the structure. The list must include the orientation, location, magnitude, units of the measure of each of the load. Restriction include all the limiting factors such as the horizontal, vertical deflection, height restrictions, installation, operating tolerance for the equipment bounding, equipment or building components that any of their limits of the structural system. The materials, including all materials of it that are allowable to stress limits of the yield, strength, and type of the grade with the class of the other applicable material properties. The reference include all the criteria with exposed, accepted standards and manuals, codes, texts, prepared with reference to the analysis design accepted with the public domain. All references must be appropriate. Identified abbreviations such as AISC, ASTME, ASCI or acceptable documentation origin over all the customer specific criteria in the calculation. Sketch in sufficient detail clarity with the communication design intent. Note the assumption references to the code stand for the criteria, drawings, and computer output. Design in the lateral force must include the design calculations, wind seismic, other potential loading of the construction drawings must apply other governing design elements both based of both seismic and wind design requirements. Computer-generated calculations must identify the program name of the source of the version of the provided input within, including the load diagrams, note of the diagram, adequate documentation illustrated with the design schematic models. Used for the input must show the minimum the nodes and joints element members of the material property loading. All loadings, including settlement and deflections, etc. List of the load combination results may include the output listing and reach minimum and maximum stress force for the deflection with each element restriction for each of the loading case and combination. Drawings, general guidance for the preparation of the drawings is provided in Chapter 4 Drawings and Chapter 7 Electronic Design Deliverables. 10171 Geotechnical Drawings. Investigating subsurface investigation result of the drawing with the record keeping proof of the minimum of the drawing shall include the logs that appear with the geotechnical report summary table of the laboratory testing note concerning the drilling logs, testing groundwater observation conclusion, any site with the preparation note of the details such as the undercutting, the surcharging. 10172 Structural drawings and notes. They provide the structural drawings with sufficient detail for the structural work. The drawings must contain the structural notes in accordance with the USC 1200-01 provided critical reference of the information, future building sophistications, modifications, evaluations, the minimum note of the design criteria, the design standard reference, the general construction requirement, and the following loads provided with the load information identifying the source of all listed loads, foundation condition, the fully described foundation condition, the listed type of the foundation system, method employed with determine allowable soil bearing involved include values, including the minimal allowable beam bearing capacity to show the foundation or pile cover here capacity and bolt tension compression for the deep foundation and indicate the passive activity with that the rest of the design pressure coefficients of the fraction of the subgraded modulus, indicating site-specific design spectrum, also used to be designed. Give the site classes in accordance with the systematic design criteria used. Materials clearly define the type of the grades property of the materials, either structural element and system quality assurance to provide the summary of the quality assurance requirements. Ammunition explosive facility drawing, including the standard of proof of the ammunition explosive storage facility, must include a note clearly and identify the source and name and the date of the standard design. Marine structures are located in the marine, mooring, berthing, and decking loads for the marine structures, including ship classes. With associated displacement specifications, government general guidelines, preparation specifications, chapters, and provided in Chapter 5 specifications, Chapter 7 electronic design deliverables. 10.19 get general guidelines preparation request for proposal provided with the Chapter 3 development of the design bid process bid request for proposal in Chapter 7 electronic design deliverables. 10.110 furniture fixtures and equipment refer to the UFC 3.120 10 interior design additional guidance for furniture fixtures and equipment package development submitted with each of the state of the design request for the furniture fixtures and equipment is included with the architectural submitted outline on the design stage. Alright, 10.111. Critical path is submitted with the contractor submitted with the design build may be designed with the critical path is submitted with the term further described in the unified guideline specs 0133100520 01331. Request for proposal and situation for the system middle may only contain the design of only the use disciplines, for example, the civil and structural filings, the middle requirements are applicable to the discipline with the critical path, the middle of the ensure the work is included with the coordinated with the other disciplines that are effective with critical path of work, for example, the electrical, mechanical site work, including showing the site, civil site work on the critical path, submittal. Provisions are made with the utilities for the entrance through the foundation for the major paid pieces of equipment of the foundation work, critical submittal. 10.2 concept design submittal with 10% to 15% of the concept design submittal with intent for the convey of the extent of the work in the preliminary conceptual manner. The drawings are approximately 10 to 15% complete at this stage. For design building and if defined with the request for proposal, the concept design with the contractor technique request for the request for proposal, including layout, functional drawings design when issued, with the exception of the UFC requires that should be outlined with the request for proposal solicitation. Concept design include the following minimum basis of design, some preliminary version of the basis design addressing items defined with the contract document, more detailed discipline specification, the unified facility criteria include the geotechnical report available. The appendix encouraged to have the report submitted to obtain the review comments for the earliest possible date. For design projects, the submittal of the update the sustainable design validation certification information required for the unified guidelines state specs US 0133100520 or 01331 design submittal procedures and project request for request proposal. Drawings provided. Drawings required with the contract with the document discipline specs of the unified facility include the following drawings with the defined and discipline of the unified specs of the unified facility criteria applicable to the project. Architectural floor plans provide all floor plans, new demolition, including room name, the basic dimension, building elevation, provide all the building elevation, indicating the exterior material, building section, include the height of the other building elements. 10.2.2.2 civil conceptual site plan, including above the below the ground utility lines, vehicular, pedestrian circulation path, building, parked and paved areas, preliminary landscape, architectural concept, existing site features that remain. ATFP, standoff distances. Electrical need not to be extensive details must be complete enough, though, thoroughly to express the designer's intentions include the following. Existing site demolition plan, site plan, single line diagram, preliminary floor plan with a dedicated space, the clearly identified electrical telecommunications room, fire protection code, compliance summary sheets and life safety floor plan. Geotechnical boring log drawings are encouraged but not required. Calculations must be complete with sufficient detail for the support of the items outlined with the basic design indicated on the drawings. Provided calculations required for the document and discipline specs of the unified facility criteria as follows. Preliminary design, electrical preliminary design analysis, including preliminary load calculation for the utility connection. Charlottes and function analysis concept development. Charlottes and functional analyst concept developments, or maybe the design build develop the project program or the request for proposal. The design bid builds develop the design on the project, but for both the value engineering techniques develop concept designs, provide chariot and functional analysis concept development when required at the contract. Design faked. Or for functional analysis concept of design, study the design chair to the cooperative effort of the design team with the user client, the representative installing plan staff of the 1391 project team, prop member, the appropriate regional staff, facility engineering commands, personnel, Other interested parties to share it may last 1 or 3 days with the functional analysis concept development may last 1 to 2 weeks. That includes on-site development, conceptual design, and the response to the functional aesthetic, environmental-based plan of the site, budgetary, and other requirements. Submittal shall include the meeting of the minutes of the conceptual design, documentation of the decision, information that led up to the decision, including the partner and agreement signed with the principal's participation. Design development submittal 35 to 50%. The design development submittal is intent for the convey the complete extent of the work in its primary manner of the drawings are typically 35 to 50% complete. At this stage, submittals must include the requirement of the previous submittal plus the additional detail to bring them into the required completion percentage, including the following: the minimum, the base of the design, the submittal will complete with the base of the design addressing the items defined with the documentation, the discipline specified the unified facility criteria. Designing build projects. Additional design build project submittal with the unified up-to-date suitable design validation certification information required for the Unified Facility Guideline Specs 013310.0520 design submittal with the procedure and project request for proposal for environmental work and indicate what the area of the work will occur, address the contaminant requirements, address occupants for the building where applicable, drawings, provide drawings where they require for the documentation, design specs of the Unified Facility Criteria for the contract, including following drawings that define the design discipline specs of the Unified Facility Criteria as applicable for the project. Architectural floor plans provide all the floor plans, new demolition indicating the room's name, the dimension, the building elevation, provide all the building elevations indicating all exterior materials, roof plan, provide a plan for all roof areas indicating direction of slope of the method drainage of the building section, indicate the height of typical wall section, provide sufficient wall section to indicate the material of the different conditions, finish schedule indicating all proposed finish and furniture plan. Landscape architecture, planting plan for show location of the facilities, buildings, and parking areas of roads that extends existing vegetation in order to the preservation, etc. New plantings, tree shrubs, and grounds, etc. Plant details such as the provided schedule with the plant materials showing the minimum, the common name, botanical name, the quantity of the plant, the root condition of the bulb, and burlap contained by box, etc. The key reference of the planting detail for a separate detail of the planting type, trees, shrubs, ground covers, etc. Miscellaneous plant details provide plan drawings and detail for the specialized construction, including such items as the plaza, courtyards, and child play equipment, monuments, memorial site furniture, fences, walls, signage, etc. Irrigation shall also all the water lines, sprinkler heads, valves, backflow preventers, water to source connections, wells, automatic controllers scheduled in site and irrigation is required. Irrigation details when site irrigation plan is provided with the provide details, sprinkler head and backflow preventers and valves, accessories, etc. 10.3.2.3 Civil Legend and Notes Existing Conditions Utility Plan Layout Plan of the Road and Parking Datum Security Type within the NGVD and local danums of the design bid build only pavement section include joint layout plan and details structural foundation plan include all the structure showing dimensions, arrangement, the elevation, location referred to the column line grid system of to the type of the foundation structure include the layout of the slab of the founding, footings and piers, grade beams, the piles, etc., showing all the foundation features of the design, framing plans, and the framing plan of each of the structural levels of the facility showing the dimension, elevation, column, and location, number of the reference for the column grade line grid system, otherwise oversized the major members of the components show the layout of the beams and joists, strings, etc. Structural details show typical details of the construction indicating the connection and relationship between the major components of the structural system. Structural elevation shows general size of the location arrangement, all significant features of the vertical frame system, including columns and walls and bearings, etc. Mechanical, plumbing floor plan, show all the plumbing fixtures from the floor, drains, equipment site location, site plan show the connection between the base stream, the distribution location, propane, oil tanks layout of the ground, couple the heat pump, well, the fields, etc. HVAC floor plan which show the equipment location, one or two lines, duct layout with a preliminary pipe running. Mechanical room plan show major equipment, the maintenance success for the space provided with the boy view with a clarified layout and supports. Electrical, legend abbreviation, existing site, demolition plan, site plan, lighting plans, power plans, lightning protection plan, cathodic protection plan, special system of the plan, single line diagram, additional plan and risers, fire protection code compliance summary sheets updated with the concept design submittal, life safety plan updated with the concept design submittal, fire suppression plans and fire alarm mass notification system plans and details sheets. Results of subsurface investigation, boring, testing, log pits, etc. Outline specification, provide outline specs to inform all the list of the specification section by the design or of the record intends to use on the job. Design bid build when required with the request for proposal. Unified facility guide specs described in Chapter 5, provided with the unified facility guide specifications are used with the job within section number, title, section, date, presence of the using the unified facility guide specs master guide specification set. Using the master described in section paragraph 525 unless they required otherwise by contract. Color boards provide separate interior exterior color boards indicating all proposed material and color selection calculation. Provide the following calculation minimum as defined with the detail with the discipline specific unified facility criteria. Structural, and geotechnical provide structural and geotechnical calculations sufficient details to support the items outlined in base design with the indicated drawings. Pavement that provide the pavement calculations sufficient details to support the items outlined in the base of the design indicated in the drawings. Substantial design and mechanical engineering analysis provided a bound copy of the computerized engineering analysis that includes input and output data of the entry. Life cycle cost analysis, submit the localized life cycle cost analysis and utilizing the last edition of the NISTA building life cycle cost program. Building and heat, cooling, and loading provide a bound copy of the computerized load calculation for the input and output data in their entry. ASHRAE 91 compliance calculations. Submit calculation compliance with the forms indicated within the base of the design. 10354 electrical updated design analysis, substantial design level shown provided calculations including lighting, interior, exterior foot candles, loading analysis, service size, feeder size, larger special circuit size, the lightning risk assessment, and fire protection. Submittal of the calculation supporting the fire suppression fire alarm detection system for the project. Calculation for the system feature for the element other than fire suppression detection will be required as applicable. The fire suppression system calculation must be prepared for the commercial available computer software. Environmental report. The design building projects provided with the reports for the UFC 3810N. The pre-final design submittal with 100%. The intent of the pre-final submittal is to provide a complete set of the drawings and any drawings. Specification following are the minimum requirement of the pre-final submittal with the basis for the design. Submit review the basis for the design, including updated information, incorporating response to the previous government review comments. The geotechnical report, if modified during the previous review, shall be submitted with the expense of the basic design. Otherwise, do not submit. Design build. Initial design build updated the information, including substantial design valid certification of information required for the unified grill guiding specification 013310.0520 of the project request for proposal. Drawings must be 100% complete minus the final strength ensures modified to reflect the response to the previous review comment. The drawings must be complete with the extent that they may be released and based on the construction by as submitted with the provided complete set of the construction drawings organized with the discipline prescribed and in the document with the discipline specified the unified criteria. The design build project file with the requirement of the request for proposal when the shop drawings are used in design drawings. Additional requirements specified with the discipline specs for the unified facility criteria and request for proposal provided in following 5. With electrical, provide the following legend, abbreviation, existing site, demolition plan, lighting plan, detailed power plan, details power, single line diagram, telephone riser diagram, internet communication riser diagram, fire alarm riser diagram, including only one of the separate fire protection drawings are not required to be included with the design. Other riser diagram of the television, security, and similar system, panels, schedules, switchboards, and motors to control circuit schedules, lightning fixture details, fire protection, and minute provided with the minimum note of the drawings UFC 3610N. In addition, with the drawing requirements specified in the design, development, specification, the request for full development, provided the edit red line specification section showing the deletion from the forms and from in addition to the master guide with the specific sections, red line and other parts of the request for proposal when required for the contract. When using specs intact, deletion shall be made with the shown in bold print and lined out. Additional shown with the body bold print with the italicized underline. If the special editing feature will have to reset each time the specific intact program is updated. To do this on the job and go into the section and select format. Design submitted with the request for proposal development should be complete. At this stage, require only minor correction of the organized the request for proposal specification in accordance with Chapter 3 and 5. Selectively provide the submittal register with the specification request and AV fact drawing numbers from the government at this stage. When using spec intact, run all verification reports when printing. Print the project specification section, official date with the release of master guide section with the display of the version specification U with the date appear immediately below the specification section title. Environmental specification provide additional requirements. Environmental specification as required by the UFC 3810N. Design build submit design build design submittal of the design build project following the requirements of the request for proposal when manufacturer catalog is in lieu of the perspective of the specifications. 10.4.3.2.1 Fire Protection Specification. Fire protection system only provided with the manufacturer data sheet instead of the protective specification suppression system detection alarm with the system fire stopping with spray applied with the fireproofing exemption. In addition, the submittal perspective and specification included with the part of the request for proposal project information form. Design build project with design build request for proposal development provided with the project information form. Project program information form is available at the construction criteria base or CCB of the whole design building at www.wholedesignbuilding.org to control instruction criteria base under specification library and the Navy fact specification. 10.4.5 Color boards. Provide separate updated interior exterior color boards, including all proposed material color selections. Calculation provides all the calculations required to reflect the resolution on the previous government review of the comments. Provide design analysis with up to 100% complete. Provide calculation for each of the discipline in addition with the following detailed requirements. 10.4.6.1 Mechanical. Submittal of the calculations. Submit the plumbing of the mechanical system and the major equipment of compromising those of the system. Submittal that they should include but not limited to the cooling loads, heavy loads, air balance, outside air calculations, up to the energy analysis to provide for the design development phase of the equipment, frequency and schedule on the drawings, electrical. Provide updated calculation previously submitted with a substantive design level to show and indicate the following is applicable: short circuit voltage, drop of the lighting load analysis, motor starting flickers analysis, select tension guiding analysis, manhole design calculation, cable pulling tension calculation, cathodic protection calculation, CATV or network loss calculations. Alright, facility plaque. Provided with a professional design with a manufacturer recognition plaque with the commemorating the operating with the facility recognized with leadership participation with the project with multiple functions of a project with provided with a plaque for each of the major facility. Located plaque in the plaque in the public area with the inside of the facility, such as the foyer and the lobby. Interior location does not exist for the mounting of the plaque of the prominent location on the outside of the wall of the facility. The plaque must be a pertinent from installation note requiring maintenance for the life of the facility. Bronze, aluminum, glass, or stones. Examples are acceptable plaque materials. Do not use plastic plaques. Do not use the wood plaques for the exterior location. Wood may be only used as matched interior of the wood buildings and finished with the mounting location. Only when used for the combination with the other acceptable plaque materials. Only use non-corrosive metal stone plaques as either exterior mounting location. Provide plaque materials complement the materials and finish at the location where they are mounted will be mounted. Messages features must permit the raise and cast the cut into the face of the plaque. The plaque size must be in the portion space available to mounting location. However, they ensure that the plaque is large enough to name the plaque of the readable in distance of 5 foot. The plaque design should be accomplished to the end of the project duration. To ensure the current participation can be identified and recognized on the plaque, confirming the name, organization, each of the person recognized with the contracting officer, including the following information: leadership participation and minimum. Facility name, identifying each any recognition reply with the facility person in which the facility has been dedicated, date of occupancy, month and year, U.S. Green Building Council, lead certification achieved, the use as activity commander, commanding officer, base commander, commanding officer, Navy FAC component, commanding officer, facility engineering component, commanding officer, prime contractor, architectural engineer, and the main facility designer. 10.5 Final design submittal. Final submittal to provide with the complete and final set of the contracting documents ready for the solicitation by the government, or in the case of the design build ready for the construction by the contractor. All previous government requirement review comments must be had by the manner addressed unless specified otherwise. If the contractor provides final submittal within an electronic format in accordance with Chapter 7, provide the following as a minimum of the final submittal to provide base of the design submittal with the final received update with the base of the design as required herein by the discipline of unified facility criteria sustainable design. In addition, with the design project for update the information including substantial design validation certification information required in the Unified Facility Guideline section, the section 013310.0520 or 0301331 for the request proposal. Drawings. Provide complete construction drawings detailed with the pre-final design phase of the organized discipline in accordance with the UFC discipline sheets of the UFC facility criteria. Ensure the Navy flag drawing numbers are entered in the appropriate location over the Navy flag standard drawing border. 10.5.2.1 Shop drawings, design building projects following the requirements of request proposal when the shop drawings are used in this design drawing. Alright, quality control data. Provide quality control review the design project with it shall be coordinated with the efforts between the contractor of the design with the record of the recorder. The review shall evaluate the between both technical accuracy, discipline, coordination. The final submittal should include the single set of the 100% print specification highlighted with it to indicate the review the performed correction made with the provided stamp on the coverage of the drawing set. Specification shown in Figure 10.1 with the system and item section detailed note the reference for the other sheet. Major dimensions equipment shall be marked with verifying all equipment It's correctly identified the same way on all sheets with their specification. Ensure all the work is indicated with the drawings and fully consistently specified. Figure 10.1 shows the quality review back, quality control review, signature and date. The specification of the request for proposal. Provide the complete final specification for the request for proposal. Red lines executed ordinance comply with the package of detail in Chapter 3 and 5. Environmental specification comply with the additional requirements of UFC 3810M for the environmental specifications. Design build and submittals. For the design build project follows requirements request for proposal and manufacturer's data catalog. Design data is used in lieu of the prescriptive specification. Fire protection system is only provided with the manufacturer's data sheet instead of the prospective specification on the suppression system. The detection alarm of the system fire stop at the spray applied with the fireproofing and exemption in addition with the submittal of the respective specifications for the fire protection system. When provided the request for proposal, project information form provided with the form in final form completed project information form of the project of the design build. Request for proposal development for the design build. Submittal of the core documentation binders. Provide the separate interior exterior color documentation binders indicating all the proposed material color section calculations. Review the design analysis calculation required for the reflect the result resolution. Previous government review comments required for the document and the discipline specification of the USI facility criteria. Statement of special inspection. The special inspection testing is provided by Chapter 17 International Building Code. Required registered design professionals responsible charge of the shall be prepare the statement of special inspection in accordance with the requirements of the state and the International Building Code. Additional overseas submittal requirements to provide the following host nation life safety building code analysis comparison of the host nation requirements and the National Fire Protection Agency Code UFC 1-200-01 translated geotechnical report into English. Unless stated otherwise in the contract, boring logs shall be shown in two languages, English and local language of the country of the binding of the construction. Code of compliance certification discipline. All the design of all the disciplines shall comply with the applicable U.S. and host nation norms. The regulation applicable to the U.S. military criteria, plans, and specifications shall be certified by host nation architectural engineer, registered in the county professional. Roles for compliance with the applicable codes and laws. The certification shall provide with the cover sheet with the project drawings and specification in dual languages. The code of compliance certification is provided with as indicated below. The date of the signed stamps in accordance with the requirements set forth in Chapter 7 of this document. Having participated in the design of the project number, identifying the project number, the project title, and its location, having thoroughly reviewed the completed project documentation, I declare that the facility designed herein complies with all the applicable to identifying the hosting codes, identify the hosting country codes and laws, and date and signature professional seal. Chapter 11, Post design and post request for proposal development submittal requirements.